Fractured Soul Part
This is
2.
going to be part 2 concerning the fractured soul. Please watch part 1 if you have not already seen it. All right. I'm going to kind of continue where I left off, and I'm going to talk about the fractured soul and some of the practices that God will have you to do. Okay. So I'm going to use this for an example. If you were sexually assaulted in a childhood home, God will have you travel back there and pray there. Okay, this is a practice that I did. All right, there are pieces of your soul that are connected to the event. Now, I did soul deliverance when I had the mentorship. I no longer have the mentorship. Have not had it on that mentorship in probably 6 months now. Okay. So I ended that, I think, in June. All right. And I will not be doing that again. But it was extremely powerful, I'm going to say, for me. And I did a soul deliverance. I think I did post the results from just the things that people talked about. God gave me instructions to have a lot of these women go to different areas where they experience a lot of trauma, whether it's domestic violence, sexual assault, incest, right? All of those things. So the deliverance was incredibly powerful. A lot of their emotions, I actually did post a video. It is under my testimonies. I believe it's titled Mentee's Emotions Were Locked. Okay, very powerful video. You should go watch it when you get the opportunity, because I have playlists that I titled for different things. So it was very, very, very effective, but that is only one part. Okay, God will have you to go back to that place maybe 10 times. All right, but those are examples of things that God will have you to do. So a lot of times, even when you go to a therapist, the therapist will actually to tell you to go to the place where these traumatic events happen, maybe write a letter, maybe express how you feel. It's kind of similar, but of course, when you're doing something with God, it's so much more effective. But that is something that you can do. All right. You will notice when you go to these different locations, all these memories will come back, whether good or bad, even smells. And so, for example, if you went through a lot of traumatic experiences at a high school, you may get out of high school and get very emotional. Okay, that is a huge sign that there is deliverance that needs to be done. Fragments of your soul, pieces of you are left there. You may have went through a deep level of betrayal. Okay, I'm going to talk very extensively about betrayal in the coming videos. Okay, why is it that your soul is fractured? Because of all of these things, these flood of memories, right? Experiencing deep levels of betrayal from family and friends that is incredibly fracturing to the soul. One of the tactics of the enemy that's effective is witchcraft. We hold a lot of power in our tongue. Okay, witches use their tongue to destroy lives. I'm gonna speak on somebody. Her name is Diamond, and she was in the mentorship. God told me she would decree that I would fall down a flight of stairs. She would decree that I would appear and look like a man, that I would develop a beard. She said some of the most foul, disgusting things about me. Now, for the average person that claims to truly serve God, this would have had a major impact on you. Okay, because if you are not in right standing with God, you probably would have developed an actual beard, and you would have had hair growing. You would have went to the doctor would have told you, oh, you have PCOS, you have a hormonal imbalance, all of these things. But really, it's actually a reflection of witchcraft. Okay, there's a lot of times you'll go to the doctor, they can't even diagnose you, they don't even have an answer for it, but they got to give you an answer. You can't go to the doctor and they say, hey, we lost on this one. You know what I'm saying? So they're going to try to find something that's wrong with you and try to find the symptoms and pin that on you. All right? And give you a clinical prophecy when really the root of it is witchcraft. Okay? So let's continue. The reason why I'm so forthcoming when it comes to witches, number one, is because God told me to. Number two is because I don't come in agreement with wickedness, right? I'm going to speak on this. There was a lady named Cindy McNeil. She was one of the most conniving, lying, backstabbing, troublemaking people, witch that I've ever met. She used to tell me all the time for close to a year that she loved me. She would always say this. She would post it publicly. She would always say, "I love you, Apostle." She used to be very close with this other lady named Cora Jenkins, another lady named Lynette, and then another young girl named Morgan Skinner. Okay? They would chant against me for hours. Okay? Let me tell you something. Witches know. They know when they curse you with their tongue. What does that do? It develops spears, darts, knives, fiery darts in your back. Left untreated, it turns into a stroke and a heart attack. They know this. I'm going to tell you all, deep level of betrayal by your spouse when they cheat on you. A lot of women don't recover. And I'm going to say something that I don't think I've ever said. When I very first got married, it wasn't even 3 months. I found out that my husband was talking to another woman. All the feelings that I had for him actually left when I found out about her. I never recovered. I don't really think that I'm programmed to be with somebody after cheating. There's no use for you. Now, I didn't leave the person, but I didn't have any feelings. So betrayal is very difficult. It's very difficult. When friends betray you, family members betray you, that is very hard. And it has a major impact on your soul. Okay? It can actually kill you. All right? If you do not confront people, this means that you are in agreement with it. Many of you have family members that have manipulated you, gossiped about you very badly, done witchcraft on you. God has given you dreams. You've gotten words of knowledge. A lot of you have actually sown into my ministry, and God gave you all of the answers that you need, and you never came and told me. That's okay, though. Let's continue. What you're saying to the spirit world is, I agree with everything that they've done to me and are doing. Betrayal has to be confronted. Jesus was incredibly confrontational when he spoke to the Pharisees. He actually told Judas and Peter, he didn't say their names, but he told them, 2 people here gonna betray me. He told Peter, baby, he said, before the rooster crows 3 times, you're gonna deny me 3 times. That's exactly what he did. He said, the one that's about to kiss me is going to betray me. Jesus was very confrontational. All right, let's continue. God told me numerous times you can actually die from a broken heart. Steps to recover. I'm going to talk about some of those. From deep soul wounds. Isolation. I'm going to say that again for the people in the back, the front, the side, and the ones that are going to watch this video and get this far. Isolation. Consecration. You have to be led by Christ when consecrating. God might tell me, I want you to consecrate for 40 days, fast for 40 days, 6 to 3. I want you to pray 6 hours. For you, he might tell you 6 to 2, 1 hour. You have to go to God and ask him, how should you be consecrating? Okay? If you've been essayed, all right? God might tell you to go to their home for a month straight. It's imperative that you do it. All right. God might tell you to pray at a certain hour for 60 days to consecrate. So consecration is different. Take Isaiah 11:2 in any version and ask God to give you those 7 spirits of God and to give you insight on how you should start consecrating. All right. You need to successfully start developing a habit of fasting. Fasting is good, but you're going to have to spend deep hours in prayer to heal the soul. Deep hours praying in the spirit. Okay. And I'm going to talk more in depth about this in the videos to come because I'm going to speak on this in a more in depth. Also, I want in a more in depth is what I'm trying to say. I'm going to speak more in depth about the matter. So soul deliverance looks different for every single person. I also want to make mention how important and effective it is to just simply read the word of God every single day, even if it's just 2 chapters. Okay, the word of God penetrates your soul. That is the only book that can actually penetrate both soul and spirit at the same time. Develop a habit of meditating on 3 John 1 and 2 as well. Follow for part 3.